So, in this segment of my discussion with Matt, we talk a little bit about the polarization of the internet and how to form your own opinions based on the opinions of influencers and the radical extremes that are on the internet. So, hope you enjoy this segment, and I'll see you afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something, and even to this day, like, 'cause I've been with my wife over 10 years now, and
Mm,
a lot of the stuff that you see within uh, personal development and a lot of what I come across, I have to really sort of sift through the information.
mm,
And especially when, these new sort of gurus arrive on the scene, like Andrew Tate has been blowing up. And it's
mm.
kind of like you want to emulate some of what makes him successful,
Yeah.
but then it's like there's like this other 90%. And I'm just like, I'm hearing some of this stuff and I'm like, dude, like, what? Like, you can just sort of tell. And it's kind of, it's sad because a lot of younger people try to sort of just parrot the information without sort of fully understanding it.
Yes.
And a lot of, and because I've been commenting on some videos where guys are just like, oh, fuck bitches, just focus on yourself and get your money and get your life and get this and then even if you're with someone, still keep seeing other people and still keep doing that and don't fall in
Mm.
love and all that. And I'm just like, oh, it just hurts my head and it makes me sad because and again, like so many people get into the self-improvement journey to begin with as a result of a breakup. So inevitably, if you follow the circle all the way back around, they just want to find someone and find that love again that
Mm.
they're missing from that initial relationship. And it's like, why would you shut yourself off from that just because someone tells you it's the way? And sort of everyone, and especially me over the last few years, like you kind of do have to follow that journey all the way through because it does go in a big circle. I've found because
Mm.
I've I actually met my wife out at a nightclub while I was pretty much not at the peak necessarily, but I was coming up to that phase when I was 19 of just
Mm.
sleep with everyone, just numbers, dates. Like that was pretty much my life. Like I would go out on the weekend and it was my mission just to make out with more girls than I did the week before. And
Oh,
and I was like consuming all this like game content and learning all these tactics and these mindsets and yeah. And the sad thing is a lot of them do work, but I think a
mm.
big part of it is actually just putting yourself out there and having the confidence to like a blueprint almost to say, yep, this is what I do, this is what gets me out there. And to go from that really shy introverted, like wouldn't talk to anyone else, wouldn't make friends, to that. So yeah, I've even though I did a lot of stuff I regret, I've also got a lot of stuff that I'm still thankful for. And
Mm.
especially that it set me up going forward because I can actually look at that with some perspective and be like, no, this is messed up, you shouldn't have that mindset. But some people kind of need to have it and then get back
Mm.
out of it just to have that
Yeah.
experience. It's yeah, funny how it works.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And especially when you're talking about how, some of the stuff Andrew Tate says, that's not like you don't agree with all of that, but then some of
Mm.
it is like good advice.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting because if you're not part of the red pill space, or if you are in the red pill space and somebody's trying to call it misogynistic, people will just be like, oh, okay, men and women are different. We're not saying that's good or bad. We're just
Mm.
different, right? And, I think that does make sense, but that doesn't necessarily validate all of the kind of insults and stuff that it does have a kind of misogynistic undertone, which I've kind of realized because when I was part of the like very consumed with the red pill space, I'd be like, oh, this isn't misogyny. We're just operating differently because
Yeah.
biologically we're different. So it's easy to think that, but then it's weird because once you get out of like not completely out of the space, but like a little bit out of the
You can take a step
extreme
back.
side of it, yeah, then you kind of can see the criticism, but then the people still on the other end are like, you're this isn't valid criticism because they don't
Yeah.
have the perspective, which is really interesting. And I guess that's just how the internet works. And especially with the internet taking the extreme sides, like
Mm.
you have to be super polarizing in order to make a personality. That's why Andrew Tate was so big because people either loved him or they hated him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the opposite
And
of
either
love
way, he
is
wins.
indifference. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So with him having this supercharged emotion of love or hate, either way it fueled his popularity. Whereas if people were just indifferent to him or they loved
Yeah.
him, you wouldn't have as much of a following. So and then that's why this kind of like content that we're doing is a little bit harder because we're not super polarizing. We're not saying
Mm.
only focus on yourself, fuck all these girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're not saying that because
Mm.
we're trying to take a more middle of the road path rather
Mm.
than just the extreme side of the spectrum, which
Mm.
doesn't get as much attention on the internet as it should. But that's, I don't know, that's kind of just a product of how everything has evolved and what catches the human attention.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of sad, really, because a lot of the time, the real answers and the real gold I've found, at
Mm,
least anyway, does lie in that balanced middle ground approach where not a lot of
mm,
people, like you said, because it's just not like a sexy marketing thing that you can put out.
exactly.
Because people want like a quick answer one way
Mm,
or another, and a lot of topics are quite nuanced, and you can't just give a yes no. Even in like fitness related content, that there was a few videos I was watching just the other day asking, is obesity a choice? And
yeah,
people
I think
will,
I've seen that video as well.
yeah, oh, there's heaps of them, but the
Mm,
problem is that it's not just a yes no answer. Like there are so many
mm,
different factors that go into it, that and you could argue for both sides, but I think the issue is you've got people that are team, yes, it's a choice, personal accountability, all that. And
mm,
and for me anyway, I agree with a lot of those points being raised. And then on the other hand, you've got people going, no, it's not a choice. There's all these genetic factors, environmental factors and
mm,
stuff. And it's like, well, I also agree with that. So what's
exactly.
the truth, And the truth is, well, it's a nuanced topic. You can't just say yes, no, because it's a gray area.
Mm,
But that answer doesn't get clicks. It's you have to say,
exactly.
you have to be, and I don't know how it is over there, like politically, but like over here as well, it's like, it's that old two-party system where,
Mm,
you're either red or you're blue, and it's like you're supposed to hate the other side, and
yeah.
you're not really supposed to see the common ground and everything, because it's just people get into that sort of tribal mentality where it's like,
Yeah.
no, this is me, this is my team, fuck the other team,
Mm,
and no matter what they do, they're wrong. No matter what we do, we're right. La 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 la. You stick your head in the
mm,
sand, and that's kind of it. But yeah, like the more, I guess, moderate, more sensible approach is like, oh no, 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 shut up. You're not, you're not
mm.
helping. Like pick a side. Which
Yeah,
is sad,
I
but yeah,
agree.
I guess it's just how it is. Yeah. So,
It is like that over here as well, where we have, we have Democrats and then we have Republicans, like red and blue. And if you subscribe to kind of one of the beliefs of like the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, you kind of have to be in line with every single other belief that they have,
mm,
which is really interesting. And I think I do understand why that a lot of their values kind of stay the same, and
mm,
that's seems to be why people affiliate with one party or another. But
mm,
I've also talked about this before on my channel. It's kind of like this concept that I had where I was just laying in bed one night. I was like, this is like seeing the world in fourth dimension. So do you know?
yeah.
So three dimensions, we can see only like a 2D image of a three-dimensional object, right? But then
Okay.
in the fourth dimension, if you can visualize the fourth dimension, it would be, say, take this water bottle, you
Mm,
would be able to see all perspectives of the water bottle at one time, which would
oh,
be,
okay.
it's really hard to envision, but that's kind of like my concept, and that's what I titled the video, is like seeing the world in 4D,
Mm.
because it's not that we just see one side of the coin or the other. We see both sides of the arguments, and that's how it is for me with like political things. Like I can see where some of the red parties coming from. I understand their points, but then I also see where some of the blue sides coming from. So I can't exactly affiliate and dedicate my perspective and my thinking entirely to one side. So
Mm.
that's kind of why I was thinking like, seeing all sides of the issue at
Yeah.
one time and understanding where the different points are coming from.
Mm.
So that's interesting that you bring that up.
Be sure to check out part 5 of our discussion right here. It'll take you directly to the video on Matt's channel. I appreciate the support, and again, it was great getting to know Matt and getting to talk to him all the way from Australia. And that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember to stay on target.